In this session, we'll look at a way to leverage relative object snaps. Now, AutoCAD and Civil 3D provide several object snaps to choose from. In most cases, these object snaps represent points that are physically on an object. Generally speaking, they are a destination. That being said, object snaps can also be viewed as a starting point from which you can navigate to an even more valuable location. One way to do this is by using the From object snap. Let's take a look. On my screen, I have a drawing that represents the beginnings of a detail sheet. Let me zoom in. As you can see, I have currently positioned my first detail here in the upper right corner. I would like to move this next detail such that it is alongside the first one and a ½ inch away. Fortunately, I can position the detail without having to create an offset or any construction lines of any kind. I can do everything using the From object snap. I'm going to come up to the Modify panel and launch the Move command. I will then select this detail and press Enter. I'm going to pick it up from the upper right corner. Now, where do I want to place this? I will shift right click, and from the menu I'll choose From. I will then select the upper left corner of this detail, and as I pull away you can see it is as if I was moving it from that location. Let me tap the F8 key to lock my ortho. I'll pull to the left and type in my distance of 0.5, and I'll press Enter. From allows us to find a point that is relative to a selected object snap. Let me mention that I just used From in conjunction with the Move command. It's important to note that From can be leveraged using most any of the Draw or Modify tools. Let's finish things up by moving this other detail into position. I'm going to tap the spacebar to go back into the Move command. I will select this detail and press Enter. Let's pick it up from the upper right corner. You can see my ortho here is still locked. I will shift right click and choose From. We'll select the upper left corner of this detail. I'll pull to the left and type 0.5 and press Enter. Now, the From object snap works great in an orthographic sense, like what we've seen in this example. You can also use From in conjunction with a bearing and distance. Let's try that. I'm going to jump over to Model Space. Over here I have some sample geometry. This blue line work represents an existing fence. These brown rectangles are existing buildings. You can see I have some small dimensions here. We'll look at those in just a second. I also have this red target. This is where I will be starting some geometry. Let's create a polyline. I'm going to come up to the Draw panel. I'll launch the Polyline command, and I will start my polyline from the center of this circle. I will then tap the F8 key to turn off my ortho. Now, let's say I'd like to draw this polyline such that it's 20 feet away from the corner of this fence, and that 20 feet follows the bearing of this fence segment. Well, I've started my geometry. I'm going to shift right click and choose From. I will then grab the corner of the fence. I'll shift right click and choose Parallel, and then I will hover over this fence segment to acquire the bearing. I'll move my cursor above to snap to that angle. I'll type in my distance of 20, and I'll press Enter. You can see I was able to find that location without any construction geometry whatsoever. Let's zoom in. Next, I'd like to draw to a point that's relative to the southeast corner of this building. You can see the measurements right here. I will shift right click. I'll choose From. We'll grab the southeast corner, and then I am going to type at 50, my distance, the less than symbol, which represents angle. I will then type in my bearing, south, 63, D for degrees, 28 apostrophe for minutes, 13 quotes for seconds, east, and I'll press Enter. Once again, I was able to locate that point without any manual intervention. If you look at the status bar, you can see that my dynamic input mode is turned off currently. I'm going to turn this on by clicking the button here in the status bar. You can also turn it on by pressing the F12 key. By having dynamic input turned on, you can eliminate the need to type the @ symbol, because the dynamic input mode assumes distances and bearings are relative to the previously selected point. Let's try this again. I'm going to draw to a point relative to the southwest corner of this building. I'll shift right click and choose From. I'll select that building corner, and then I will type my distance, no @ symbol necessary, angle, south, 57 degrees, 53 minutes, 53 seconds, west. Enter. Now that I've found that point, let's zoom out, and I'll finish up my sample shape by coming down and using the Close option. As you can see, the object snaps we select don't always have to fall on an object. Using From, we can easily select points that are relative to other object snaps. In many cases, From can also eliminate the amount of construction lines needed to create or edit your geometry. Would you like to explore other Autodesk infrastructure ideas and workflows? If so, please visit the Civil Immersion blog by scanning the QR code or by following the URL listed below.